Well, what's going on this week, TA? What do you think? Should we start a podcast and talk about it?
JT, maybe we should start a podcast and talk about it. What would you like to talk about? How to start a podcast or how to
How to
get it
start a
started?
podcast? Let's get it started. What do you think? I have a little video. Let's try this first.
Let-
Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm.
Thank you so much for that great intro. Once again, Andy, what's going on, Steeler Nation? Hey, we're back at you. Oh, there we are. What's going on, TA? JT with you here, along with the famous TA from Steelers Realm Podcast. Welcome, Steelers Nation, for tuning in. What's up, brother? How was your week so far, man?
Man, my week has been great. It's even greater by the minute knowing that we are like less than 24 hours, JT, of watching the black and gold smack somebody out on the field, man. It is
That's right.
finally here. First game,
Black
baby. I'm ready. I'm ready to get diving into this, man. Let's rock. What
Ready to
about
dive
you?
into it. Oh, yeah, definitely, man. I'm ready for some football. I'm ready for some football. And then maybe we could talk about something that we would just partook in before this. Maybe throw a little tease out there for our listeners. What do you think? If we're both in thinking the same direction on going somewhere, we
How
might
about
have
if
something to.
how about if we just do this for right now, JT? Our tease is is that good? That's it. Just you guys have
Yeah.
to figure that out for right now. That's the only tease we're giving you. I know it makes you're probably on the other end. What the hell are those guys doing? It
Can
all
we throw a
makes
couple?
sense.
Can we throw an abbreviation out there?
I think then that gives away the tease
Oh, it might. It
before
might.
we're ready. I think the is as good as it gets, JT. That's it for right now.
That's it. Well, hey, Steelers Nation, stay tuned for something very cool that Steelers Run Podcast is possibly going to be a part of. So, how's that for a teaser, dude? We'll
I
just
like
let it
that.
hang on that. So,
Let it hang
stay
for a little
tuned for
bit.
more information on that subject. But yeah, man, doing good. We got tryouts for travel baseball completed and underway, and invitations sent out who those have made the team. So excited about that. Moving towards 2024 in the baseball season for the Boy Wonder. But other than that, not a whole lot happening this week. We had Friday Night Lights last week, which was very cool. And some things came about out of that kind of got reassessed again and maybe reconfirmed this week too with a offensive lineman moving into a kind of a different role. So we'll talk about that as well as the upcoming game against Tampa Bay. Do they even have a starting quarterback yet, or is that they have a quarterback controversy going on? Um, and then anything else developing as far as Steelers goes too. So I think there was a signing, and a former player was signed on another team that used to be a running back with us. So I guess we do have that to talk about, TA. So why don't we kick things off with who we signed this week? We signed another player and made a little bit of roster moves. So what do you got on that as far as roster moves, TA?
Well, we're smack dab in the middle of training camp, and we got a little bit of an injury going on. It comes and goes. Evidently, we waived injured wide receiver X Brown, Jamarcus Bradley, which of course it was going to be tough for that boy to go ahead and make the team. It really was. I mean, with the amount of receivers we have, it was hard sledding. However, now, what we thought going into this, training camp, JT was pretty solid with, our secondary and safeties. We're starting to get a little thin in the gills now all of a sudden. So we had to go out and sign Jalen Elliott.
Yeah,
8 games, one start of regular season experience, all with the Detroit Lions. So he's undrafted out of Notre Dame. Spent a little bit of time in New England, a little bit of time in Las Vegas. But at the end of the day, in college, he was a lot of hype. I think right now he's just somebody to put back there until we heal up a little bit. Because with DeMonte, KZ out, Neal, and Trey Norwood, I mean, I don't think the last thing we want to see is Mike out there for the whole entire game against Tampa. What do you think?
yeah.
Are you contemplating that? Would you like to see him out there the whole game? What's going on?
I don't really care. I don't really care.
If you see Micah out there the whole game,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then that takes me to my next thing. Then, does that mean that you would like to see the man, the myth, the legend, Kenny P out there the entire game? Or do you think he's going to get the bend roll and only have I don't know,
No.
2 series and done? Give him a full
Of course,
quarter,
of course, I'm
first
kidding, but
half?
I'd like to see starters play a quarter. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's cut down to 3 games, right? So, I mean, do we really think we're going to see them much? Maybe half, maybe a half a game. Wasn't that kind of? I guess it goes. It depends, and Tomlin, man. It depends on how they perform in their first couple possessions, how they perform. Does he want to see more work out of them or not? But yeah, I mean, these guys are going to start. We'll see. Maybe get a quarter of play out of them off and on. Maybe rotate some guys in with the starters to see how they perform. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how
Well,
they manage.
JT, remember now, this will be our first year of adhering to the preseason schedule, because you got to remember it went into play last year, but we were still fortunate enough to have 4 games because we played in the hall.
That's correct. That is correct.
So now this year, Tomlin's got to figure out how to manage these 3 games, because before in the past it was always guaranteed the last game of the season we seen no starters, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm kind of hoping we get to see the first team at least for the first 2 quarters.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe the first half, and then next week back it off to maybe the first quarter, or first couple sets of possessions to get us through the first quarter, and then work second, third stringers in there as well too. I would imagine that's how he would work it, and then of course the third game that's going to be you know uh, maybe a bit of starters. I don't know. Or do they rest them all and just play second and third stringers to see who's going to make that final cut? Who's got a couple splash plays in them that it can secure their spot on that 53-man roster? It's hard to say, man. It'll be interesting to see how he starts it off with the first game, anyhow. Yeah, so
Well,
I'm
so
excited.
let me ask you something, JT. So here we are. We're going into our first game now, right? What is it that you want to see? I mean, are there some players you got to go to Friday night under lights? What is it that you're dying to see actually translate in real game time?
Well, instead of playing each other, I'd really like to see the flow, and this was put out there on that little app that we joined too. More on that next week, but little poll about what would you like to see out of this first game and out of training camp. And my answer is still the same: is I want to see some flow in this offense. I want to see the system. I want to see the Canada working his magic with this team. I want to see this offense kind of coming together as a unit to see what they have. Um, we talked about this a little bit before we jumped on. Haven't heard a lot about Najee one way or the other. Is he just biding his time? Is he just kind of that same guy? I mean, I saw him, take one to the house pretty much at Friday Night Lights, but I think we've, as Steeler fans, kind of come to expect that too. So, I'm hoping this offense and Najee, has a good start to the flow of their offense. I don't want to see sputters. I don't want to see 3 and outs and stuff like that. I want to see some kind of a drive. I want to see a flow to the offense. What about you?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I might become a Matt Canada fan this year because I'm starting to hear that he's allowing Kenny to go 20, 25 yards down the field. The offense is all on board with what he's preaching. Maybe we were a little too hard on him last year. Maybe he had a plan all along and we just didn't understand it, how to bring a young quarterback into the NFL. Well, train wheels are off. So I agree with you on the flow. I would like to see them get in some type of rhythm and move the ball systematically and with play calling. Now, it's going to be vanilla play calling. You and I both know
Oh,
this.
sure.
You're not going to
Yeah,
go
you're
out there and give the entire offensive game plan away, but at least the plays that you call, tell me that you can execute them, and execute them to a crisp, clear degree. You're right. We haven't heard anything about Najee so far in training camp. It's really all been, we haven't even heard about Jalen Warren either. I mean,
no,
it's
not really.
basically been all about Junior. So Junior's been stealing the show this year. So I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. But the one thing that I'm really haven't seen anything is what's going on with our left tackle battle. There hasn't been diddly squat poo or anything really put out there about it, except maybe today that, yeah, Jones may be creeping towards that starter role. I'm not. I can't believe that nobody's talking about our first round draft pick.
I have seen some posts on social media saying that pretty much he's not quite there. I think you're going to see, and I think they've been happy with Dan Moore, and I think I think he toned up a little bit in the off season. Saw some pictures of him, man. He looks pretty stout, looks pretty trim. So I don't know. I certainly don't think he's quite ready yet, but we might see him going into it. But I think Dan Moore's getting the nod for the time being. You're going to see him with a starting role. Who knows? Maybe they'll work him in. This is the time to do that. We'll see
Well,
what the
it
guy has
is.
to offer, man.
And speaking of working in, JT, are we going to get to see your new fullback hit the field?
You know what? This is gaining gaining feet, I think. I don't know where it went here. I think I locked up. There it is. But yeah, this seems to be gaining traction as we go with him, with Kendrick Green at fullback. Like when he was playing football in Pee Wee, saw an article out there. They wouldn't let him run the ball because it was too big. It was too damn big. So he kind of put it aside. LaDainian Tomlinson was his go-to guy. Um, and of course, his handle is the fridge. I think the fridge 53 or whatever the number is. So he's kind of falling right in line, and he's got some moves there too, dude. So
Like dance move or actually moves on the field?
moves
What
on
kind
the
of moves?
field. Yeah,
Moves.
yeah.
He got a little shake and bake in him.
A little shake and bake. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. He always wanted to carry the rock, man. Once they
Well,
started talking about doing that, so I think Tomlin's embracing this.
he's definitely been getting some carries, that's for sure. And just to correct you, JT, the fridge was number 72, not 53. Didn't want anybody to get confused out there. But and he's nowhere near the size of the fridge either, because the fridge was a big man.
Yeah.
But as a fullback goes, it's going to be interesting to see just exactly if we do put him in the jumbo package, because I seen earlier this week they were talking about the jumbo package, and they were basically 4 tight ends and Fridge Junior. We'll call him Fridge Junior. How's that, JT?
Well,
FJ.
how about it? His Twitter handle is the Fridge 53. So
The Fridge. Okay, just
the
like
Fridge,
from the Ohio State. This is the Fridge. This
the
isn't
Fridge
your.
53.
So you're telling me this isn't your dad's Whirlpool?
No,
Not even a Maytag.
no. The
This is the
Fridge
new.
being the with a connection to William the Refrigerator Perry, um, from the 1980s Bears team.
So we're actually talking. This is the new improved KitchenAid. He is our KitchenAid. All right, I like it. I like it. Our KitchenAid. Well, one of the other things that I'm kind of excited to see, since we were talking about tight ends, I really want to see Mount Washington out there. I want to see what all the hype is. I'd like to see if they're actually going to, throw the ball to him, or if they're just going to leave him in that blocking mode this year. I mean, we know he's not going to start. We're going to see him from time to time, but I really want to see what all the hype is.
Well, the knock on him has been that the balls that hit him right in the chest, he's dropped, but the ones that were thrown up high and he had to go up at and battle for, that those were the ones that he was catching, and that's some of the things that he was working on during training camp. Now, I did see them go over the middle in that soft zone to him right in the gut, and he made a nice catch during Friday Night Lights. And so hopefully that's something that he's working on too. But yeah, dude, at that's at that size is like another lineman that can catch.
Well, and last but not least, on the offensive side of the ball, what I would really like to see, I want to see what money has gotten us in our new revamped offensive line. Do they have any coalition there? Are they able to communicate with one another? Are they moving as a unit? That's what I'm kind of interested to see, how our offensive line fares.
I'm
Because
sure. And
Tampa's
that all yeah, that all flows to the offense in general too. I mean, if they're blocking well, that means we'll be able to run well. If we run well, that means that's going to open up some options in the passing game and so forth. So, which I mean, Canada's not going to throw all his little tricks and whatnot out there, certainly, but we might see a little bit of this or that. Maybe a little reverse or um, something with Deontay involved in it. And who knows? Maybe Washington is that new guy. Who knows?
Well, since you brought up Deontay, JT, I got to ask, have you seen the new nickname? Would you like me to give you a little hint?
I think maybe you should kind of sing it.
You think maybe I should sing it?
I think if you're gonna put it out there, let's do it to music, man. Do it a little musical what do they call it? Intro. Go ahead.
Little intro. Say,
Yeah.
rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and
In and juice,
juice. Laid
laid back.
back. Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Man, we got gin and juice in the house now. We got self-proclaimed nicknames. What do you think of that? Can you imagine the gin and juice right now up there on the big screen? I mean, this has got to make Snoop Dogg just happy and giddy as all get out. That got gin and juice on his favorite team now.
So that would be Deontay and Pickens.
Deontay and Pickens. Who do you think's gin and who do you think's juice?
I don't know. I would think Deontay would be the gin, right?
Deontay's the gin and George is the juice.
Is the juice. Interesting. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I can't wait to see the signs fly over there in Acrisure Stadium.
When's the last time we had our receivers had a little group name to them? Oh, Killer Bees, maybe, but that wasn't just receivers.
No, that was quarterback.
New Money Crew.
The New Money Crew. There you go. That was the last time. New Money Crew.
Yeah. New Money Crew.
Step aside. We got gin and juice now, baby.
In the house. And what do you have in the backfield? We need to come up with something in the backfield too.
Whew. Well,
Rolling
it's going to be interesting. Rolling Thunder.
Rolling Thunder.
Well, it's all going to depend. You know, you got Najee, you got Jalen. Looks like you're going to have a little bit of Connor, and you're going to have a little bit of Kendrick. So, I mean, yeah, that's a hodgepodge right there. Well, anything else on the offense before we move over to the defense?
Well, speaking of offense, you know, a guy that we were kind of familiar with until Jalen Warren put his stamp on the running back group was Benny Football, and he is no longer.
No,
he is signed and on a different team now with Detroit, as a matter of fact.
He's a Lion now?
He's a Lion now.
I can see
Benny
it now.
Snell is a Lion.
Benny Snell, hear me roar. What do you think of that, JT? Benny, if you make any money off of that, remember, we get 5%. Hear me roar. Well, I tell you what, hopefully that helped rejuvenates his career because he was a disappointment. I loved watching him in Kentucky. Thought he was going to be a better contributor to us, and just never really caught on. I don't think. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, one man's loss is another man's treasure. And there's one other since we're going on defense right now. Did you hear who gave up trade school to play football this year?
No, who's that?
Really? That would be our boy Miles Jack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. He had actually was going to trade school. And
he's back playing.
He's back playing. He's with the Philadelphia Eagles. I kind of feel like between Detroit and Philadelphia, all we did was really swap players around. And throw in the Giants there, of course. What do you think?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Well, let's talk D. Let's talk defense. So this this high paid defense that we have, which we have both agreed still has some areas of concern. I won't call them holes, maybe like soft spots, but just areas of concern that we're not sure, um, some of these players are going to fill. Like our boy Freight Trains, JPJ. Boy, he got he got some moves put on him at the last. What do they call those? They have to come in and tackle. Corners have to come in and tackle.
The back on backers.
No, not the back on backers. This is another one. Let's see what I'm trying to think what they called it. Up and tackle or something like that.
And JPJ wasn't able to tackle. His daddy didn't teach him how to tackle.
Oh, he got he lost his shoes. Somebody juked him out. They broke his knees. Not literally.
Little ankle breakers, huh?
Broke his ankle.
Low ankle breakers. Ain't nothing worse than going one direction and have to turn around and go the other direction.
Sorry, I'm trying to find what they called that. I'm sure you listeners out there know that. Jeremiah, feel free to chime in any moment.
Yeah, it's ankle breakers. He broke his ankles. Ankle breakers. Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. I have to listen to the young kids today. Did you see him, man? He just broke his ankles. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, but no. Yeah, ankle breakers.
Well, it's just looking at some of the notables from yesterday's training camp. 11 on 11. Pickett made chicken salad out of a bad situation, bouncing out of the pocket, and a nice throw to Deontay. Safety Kazi has been working his way back from injury too on the 7-on-7 drills. And then Pickett did a nice job of freezing cornerback Shandon Sullivan, which allowed Pickens to run past him, which doesn't take much anyhow. But I had a nice sideline touchdown. Najee took advantage of a crease created by Chooks James Daniels for a nice gain into the red zone. And then on the highlights, I guess Trubisky had a threw in the end zone to Rodney Williams, only to have it tipped by Trenton Thomas, safety. But he stayed with it. And let me scroll down here. Come on. Stayed with it, made the catch in the end zone before the ball hit the ground too. So some exciting stuff. And I read somewhere on social media that Pickett, Kenny has not been intercepted in training camp yet. But I read somewhere that he had been already. So I don't know how much.
I thought it was the first week. I thought it was the first week.
Kind of sounded like it too.
Yeah. Maybe we're wrong. False news here on the show.
Hard to say.
Either way, that's one thing I will say that's good about Kenny is he proved that last year. I mean, start of this year or not so much, but he went 7 for 2 over the end of the last 9 games there. With some TDs and only 2 picks. So I mean, at the end of the day, I do like his mentality in protecting the ball, and I think we'll see more of that this year. Along with his new throwing.
Oh, I agree.
But we're back on the offense. Let's get to the defense, JT. So what's our big holes? What's our big holes on the defense?
Well, we're still
what are you worried about?
Are we still, a little soft at middle linebacker there? Who's going to step up? That's kind of another thing. I want to see how that position solidifies. And then this, this DB tandems or these DBs, see how they work themselves out. Some veterans, some rookies. Be interesting, definitely. I think we might get to see a little bit, at least of the first half. Anyhow, those going to training camp. One note, they'll be breaking camp next Friday, the 18th, before their preseason opener, which would be Saturday, August 19th versus Buffalo, right? So that Thursday will be the final practice for training camp that's open to the public, and that's scheduled for 10:30. So just a note on those planning on attending more training camp.
Seems like camp just opened and now it's closing.
I know, yeah, the 18th looks like.
Phew, time's going quick.
It sure is. So if you haven't gotten down to training camp, get down there. And of course, we got a game coming up Saturday, right?
Well, Saturday, you mean Friday?
Friday.
Friday.
That would be tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow.
We're less than 24 hours away.
Yeah, man. So
yeah.
that's gonna be KDKA. It's gonna handle that locally. Channel 2 in this Western PA viewing area. And I'm not sure where else that's going to be. I think it's mostly those preseason games. That's just a local team. Bob Pompiani, Charlie Batch post game.
No national games for us this year. And for
well,
the
not
Steelers, yep.
Not
and
for
the
preseason.
Steelers fans who can't see the preseason game, check out the NFL Network for the replay. All right, JT, enough teasing us with this. Kid, let's get back to defense.
Okay.
What else do you want to see?
What else do I want to see?
Yeah. You said the secondary. You said our middle linebackers. Anything else?
Pretty much does it. That's who I'd like to see develop. Yeah. How about you, man?
All right. Well, me, first.
I'm boring host tonight.
We're like bouncing around. I feel like I'm on a basketball court watching tennis. Toom, toom, toom.
Maybe we should get back to singing rap.
Hey, let me get a little gin and juice going, baby. Woo! Now, I tell you, what I really want to see is I want to see how this defensive line is starting to come along. I mean, we already have OB1. We know OB1's going to be solid. We know Cam's going to be solid. Now, the biggest fight, is going to be over nose tackle. And everybody knows I love Montravius Adams. Love the kid. But, hey, there's some new blood in here. Canal Benton has been having a stellar camp from all regards. Looking to see what this kid can really do on the field. Haven't heard much from Isaiah Loudermilk. I'm hoping he hasn't taken a step back along with the Marvin Leal, because let's face it, those are probably our future right there. Those three guys, at least, very near and dear. I did like the fact that Tomlin a little frustrated that nobody can block TJ Watt. I thought that was pretty hilarious. I mean, but that's why we love TJ, and that's why he's Defensive Player of the Year and our hearts near and dear. But the middle linebacker spot, look, everything I've read on Holcomb in E-Rob here, Landon Roberts. Look, I'm getting that slang down. You see that old E-Rob?
You're throwing nicknames all over the place, dude.
I'm just I'm in that Yinzer mood now. It's time, JT. It's time. I am liking the bond that those two have gotten, and I think that we're going to see it on the field. And it seems like Kawan Alexander has, come in, and we've got three guys with veteran leadership right here now. I mean, this is something we haven't seen in a while. And the only thing that I'm wondering, JT, can they bring an attitude? Can they bring the aggressiveness? Can they work off of each other to create that bond that is needed in the middle? Because the one guy who has not been talked about, who was a camp darling last year, is Mark Robinson. I mean, did these three veterans just show up and steal the field all of a sudden? I mean, which is a good thing because we've all been talking about how it's been a weakness, but I really want to see it now on the field. And then the next thing is Nick Herbert, big, what's he got? What's he bringing to the table? And then, I know our DBs, or I should say our safeties, are a little beat up, but we still got Miles Killebrew out there. We got this Trenton Thomas, who we've heard some, but this Kenny Robinson kid seems to be popping up in the news all of a sudden, along with Elijah Riley. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this defense communicates with one another, since we do have a lot of new faces to look at. So I'm excited. And at the end of the day, JT, really all I care about when I'm reviewing this game is how many times Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask have to pick themselves up off the ground.
That remains to be seen. But this little note, I will say this: Loudermilk made himself very visible when I was at Friday Night Lights. That's a big, aggressive man. And so I look to see more out of him and Leo this year as well. Too. Let's see. 7:00 p.m. Friday, KDKA confirmed. Also, Steelers Nation Radio and WDVE 102.5 FM. Also on the AM side, WBGG 970 AM carries the game. And then all the Steelers affiliates channels, including WDAD here in Indiana County, carrying it. So, plenty of ways to tune in. There's always streaming, too. Contact your local IPTV provider.
It's not as easy. They're making it harder. Making it hard. So hard.
It is a challenge. It is a challenge. But so what are your plans for Friday night, man? Just getting together with a regular crew, or since it's preseason, just kind of a chill out Friday night, grab a couple frosty ones and post up on the couch? What's the plan?
Plan is to continue my carpentry work and get it done, because I am not going to struggle to try to stream the game, and I will wait for Sunday night at 2 a.m. in the morning, because that seems to be what time the NFL Network likes to put us on TV to watch the replay.
So you're just going to watch the highlights and the replay. Do they replay the preseason games too?
Oh, absolutely. They replay the whole entire game.
Oh, interesting.
Absolutely. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be waiting to watch mine unless I get lucky. But we'll see.
Well, let's be honest here too, man. There's 90, what is it? 92 what do they have on the roster right now? 90 players plus?
Nope, just
whatever
90.
It is. 90. That's a lot of names to try to kind of keep track of too. So, when that roster that whittles down to 53, which I'm sure he's going to have a hard time. That's got to be tough on coaches each year. When you're at 54 and you got one more to cut, that's got to be tough decisions to make. But yeah, man, hopefully you can go out there. Now there is a new roster that Steelers put out this past week, so pull that out and try to follow along as best you can with all these names. You're going to see numbers coming in and out, probably some duplicate numbers along the way somewhere too, I'm sure. But yeah, man, looking forward to seeing some live action against a different team.
The Buccaneers, and a familiar face, Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. So is he going to be the Tampa Bay man, you think?
I'm sure he'll start out that way, but in true Baker form, he'll figure out a way to go ahead and screw the pooch, and Kyle Trask will be, your Tampa Bay starting quarterback probably by week 6.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, hey, want to quick little plug here. Stop by on Facebook, Steelers Nation, local number 724, our Facebook group shared with us, and of course the Triple B podcast and Bubba. And don't forget, man, we got our prediction episode coming up, a mega cast coming up with them on September 5th. Little different night for us. What is that, TA? That's like a Tuesday night, something like that.
Tuesday night, JT. Bubba's
Tuesday
making it rough on us.
is Tuesday the 5th. Will probably be around between 8 and 9 o'clock. I launch this year's MegaCast with our predictions for the entire season, and we'll go over each game by game. I did a little preliminary pick at work here, but I think I'm going to change that. I ended up pretty much the same as last year, but I am a little bit more optimistic this year. So looking forward to that as well, TA.
Wait
In the meantime,
you optimistic? JT, are you feeling okay?
realistic, I should say.
Okay, realistic's better.
A little more realistic.
Okay.
With a touch
I
of
can live with
optimism. Touch of optimism.
All right, we can
And
live with that.
like our buddy Nick says on our last, if you didn't catch that, be sure to Talking Sports with the other night we were on there. That was a lot of fun. We had some technical challenges, but we powered through that too, brother. But yeah, like our man Nick said, he's like, it's kind of going to fall on Canada's lap, and then what Pickett can do with that, how that interaction works, and we'll just see how that how it starts to develop. And Friday night it begins, so I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see it.
It's showtime.
It's showtime. So, anything else before we wrap up, brother?
No, I'm good, man. I just, waiting for tomorrow night to get here because that just means for us, football has really started.
Yeah.
We get to see it with our own eyes now.
Yep. In the comfort of our own homes.
That's right. Nothing better than being the armchair quarterback. I love it.
That's it.
My arm always is a little sore on Monday as well, too, but we muscle through it. Right. A few more curls with the old 16 ounce or 12.
That's it, man. Sounds good, brother. Well, hey, listen, man, have fun at your carpentry work. Have a great weekend. Steeler Nation, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend as well. Let's go Steelers, man. Careful in the hot tub.
Adios, Steelers Nation. For all those making the trip down the Tampa, be careful of Dave Mayberry Street.
Check back next week into the Steelers realm